The moment the lights dimmed and silence swept across the venue, no one expected that the next few minutes would redefine how the world talks about dance, emotion, and artistry. In 2026, Kim Taehyung did not simply step onto a stage. He stepped into history. What unfolded next was not just a performance, not just choreography, but a living, breathing narrative told through the movement of one man who seemed to carry the weight of an entire generation's feelings within his body. From the first beat, the atmosphere changed. It was subtle at first, a shift in posture, a controlled inhale, a gaze that felt almost too intimate for a massive audience. Then the music began, not loudly, not aggressively, but with a restrained pulse that mirrored a heartbeat. Taehyung moved slowly, deliberately, as if every gesture had been rehearsed not just in the studio, but within his soul. This was not a dance meant to impress. This was a dance meant to be felt. Within seconds, social media timelines around the world began to flood. Clips surfaced from different angles, each one capturing a different truth. In one video, Taehyung looked fragile, almost breakable. In another, he looked powerful, commanding the space with a quiet authority. Fans quickly realized that no single clip could fully capture what had just happened. This performance demanded to be watched again and again, each viewing revealing something new. What made this dance so powerful was not its technical complexity, though it was undeniably precise. It was the way Taehyung blurred the line between control and surrender. His movements flowed like water but struck like lightning. Every turn of his wrist, every shift of his weight, every pause between motions felt intentional, loaded with meaning. It was as if he was speaking a language older than words, a language of emotion that transcended culture and nationality. Audience members later described the same sensation, a tightening in the chest, a sudden sting behind the eyes, an overwhelming urge to hold their breath. Some said they forgot to blink. Others admitted they were crying without understanding why. This was not sadness, not happiness, but something deeper, a recognition of vulnerability, a shared human experience reflected back at them through Taehyung's bodied. As the performance progressed, the music evolved. The rhythm grew heavier, layered with tension. Taehyung's movements followed suit, becoming sharper, more conflicted. His expression shifted from calm introspection to visible struggle. It felt like watching someone wrestle with invisible forces, expectations, memories, pressure, longing. The stage lights cast dramatic shadows, amplifying the emotional weight of every move. In those moments, Taehyung did not look like an idol. He looked like a storyteller, and the story was our 8W to be. By the time the final sequence began, the entire venue seemed frozen. Taehyung slowed down again, returning to softness, but this time it was different. There was acceptance in his movements, a sense of quiet resolution. When the music finally stopped, he remained still for a brief second, head slightly lowered, chest rising with controlled breaths. That pause, so brief yet so powerful, became one of the most talked about moments of the performance. It felt like a full stop at the end of a deeply personal sentence. The reaction was immediate and explosive. Within minutes, the performance was trending worldwide. Fans from every corner of the globe struggled to put into words what they had just witnessed. Comments flooded in, not with simple praise, but with confessions. People spoke about memories the dance had awakened, about feelings they thought they had buried, about moments in their lives they suddenly understood better. Dance professionals joined the conversation soon after, analyzing the performance frame by frame. They spoke about Taehyung's mastery of dynamics, his ability to use stillness as power, his understanding of space and timing. Yet even they admitted that technical analysis could only go so far. There was something intangible at work here, something that could not be taught or replicated. It was authenticity. What made this moment even more remarkable was the context of Taehyung's journey. Known for his unique voice, his striking visuals, and his unmistakable stage presence, Taehyung had always been an artist who defied easy categorization. Over the years, his dance style had evolved quietly, often overshadowed by flashier choreography or louder performances. But in 2026, he claimed his space fully, not by demanding attention, but by inviting the audience into his inner world. Fans began revisiting his past performances, drawing connections between earlier movements and this new dance. They noticed familiar gestures reimagined, emotions revisited with greater depth. It felt like the culmination of years of growth, both personal and artistic. This was not a sudden transformation. It was a reveal. International media outlets soon picked up the story, describing the performance as a turning point. Headlines spoke of a new era of emotional dance and a performance that transcended genre. Yet for fans, it was simpler and more profound than that. It was Taehyung being unapologetically himself, trusting the audience to meet him where he was. What truly set this dance apart was its universality. Even viewers who had never followed BTS, never considered themselves fans, found themselves captivated. Reaction videos poured in from dancers, musicians, actors, and everyday people. Many admitted they clicked out of curiosity and stayed because they couldn't look away. Some said they felt seen. Others said they felt understood. In a world saturated with fast content and fleeting trends, Taehyung's 2026 dance did the opposite. It slowed people down. It demanded presence. It reminded viewers that art does not always need to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes, a single movement, executed with honesty, can echo louder than 1,000 words. As days passed, discussions deepened. Fans began theorizing about the meaning behind the choreography. Some saw themes of identity, others of freedom, others of healing. Taehyung himself remained silent, allowing the performance to speak on its own terms. That silence only added to the mystique. By not explaining, he allowed everyone to find their own truth within the dance. This approach felt intentional, almost generous. Instead of dictating a narrative, Taehyung offered a mirror. Viewers saw themselves reflected back, shaped by their own experiences. In that way, the dance became personal to millions of people at once. The influence of the performance soon extended beyond fandom. Dance studios reported an increase in students wanting to learn expressive movement rather than purely technical routines. Choreographers referenced the performance as an example of emotional storytelling. Even fashion and visual artists cited its mood and aesthetic as inspiration. Yet despite its massive impact, the core of the performance remained intimate. Watching it felt like being let in on a secret, a private moment shared willingly but carefully. That balance between vulnerability and control is what made it unforgettable. As 2026 continued, the performance remained a reference point. New stages, new dances, new trends emerged, but this one endured. It was replayed, reanalyzed, remembered. It became one of those rare moments that define an era, not because of spectacle, but because of sincerity. In the end, what Taehyung achieved with this dance was not just acclaim or virality. He created a shared emotional experience that crossed boundaries and lingered long after the music stopped. One dance truly carried 1,000 emotions, and in doing so, it reminded the world why art, at its best, is timeless. And perhaps that is why this performance continues to resonate so deeply. It was not about perfection. It was about truth. In 2026, Taehyung did not just perform a dance. He opened a door, and millions walked through, grateful for what they found on the other side. Thank you.